This is the first time I've ever had to manage a budget. What should I know? With authority comes responsibilities, and one of those is managing a budget. And the approach you take to how you manage that budget will be very visible to those who gave you the responsibility. So this week we're going to look at some of the basic thoughts about budgeting, some do's and some don't do's. First of all, the basics. Let's think about the different types of budgets. And it's really important that you understand these different types of budgets and you get a sense of what they do and how they work. The most obvious budget for most of us is our people budget, sometimes called our head count or our functional budget. And by the way, knowing whether you're going to be measured on the amount of people, the head count number, or the amount of money you spend doing that budget will be really, in terms of dollars or whatever the currency is really important. The second thing is the amount of money they spend doing things. This is your program budget. Again, probably done in dollars and maybe spread around the world. You need to understand the exchange rates that might affect people around the world. Now, there are many other budgets, things like sales incentive budgets or channel budgets that are designed to motivate a particular sales or channel. They may be added into your budget and you may or may not have control over them. And finally, there's something that you spend on assets or buying things, whether they're tools or buildings. That's often called your capital budget. Look, there are many different types of budgets other than these, but these are really the key sort of four you need to really understand. Each of them is managed differently, and they're often accounted for by the company differently. Some are operating expense, some may affect gross margin, some may affect net profit. You need to understand all of these things. Okay, some to-dos. First thing you need to do is you need to know your budget and how often it's updated. Is it weekly, monthly, quarterly? Second of all, you need to know how the company is going to approach you managing that budget, and specifically managing what's left. You're going to have to guess at the beginning of the quarter, or you're going to have to find your way through it, or do you get weekly updates? Make sure you take enough time to get finance to explain how the accounting is going to work as well. By the way, you also should understand who's watching that budget. There's probably someone other than just finance watching that budget regularly. Find out who that is. Next, you should commit to keeping your budget. To me, it's a really important sign of integrity whether you take your budget and making it seriously. If you want to move up in your organization, budget management is one of those things that can really derail you if you get the perception around that you're not good at it. Lastly, you need to make sure the people who are spending your budget, that's probably the people working for you, understand that budget too. You can't expect the people who manage the budget to manage it properly if they don't understand it either. Okay, some don'ts. Don't overspend your budget. This may be really an obvious thing, but it's a thing that people often get wrong. If you don't have enough money, ask for more. If you can't get more, regardless of how good your business case is, then you weren't meant to get more and you're going to need to live with it. That might mean you have to prioritize, might mean you have to do all sorts of things, but you're still going to live with it. Don't spend it if you don't need it. Here's the next thing. I see people spending budget even though they don't really need it because they don't want it to go to waste. I think that's a wrong approach. And while some people say, well, that will affect my going rate, I think it's your responsibility as a leader to explain that to your finance or to whoever manages the budget and ask for an exception, because I think that's a more mature way. By the way, don't expect that somebody else will cover your overspend. It's your budget, it's your job. Unless they agree to transfer the budget, you cannot make the assumption they're going to. And even if they do make that assumption, don't forget to tell finance. They need to both agree for that transfer and plan it. Look, the bottom line here is this. You need to think of the money as yours and not the company's. If you wouldn't spend it, don't make the company. Believe me, people will notice.